Бля, щоб він сюди не в'їбав.
Ну да. Случайно, блядь.
Щоб не сфотографував, блядь.
Если тебе что-то надо, забери трофеи. Домой скажешь, что сепара завалил.
Да ну на... Ребят, ну его нахуй, блядь.
Hey guys, so you've probably seen this video, or maybe you haven't seen this video, or maybe you've seen this video and the explanation for it has been different. It was the guys who were standing around before they got taken out by a Russian tank, a Ukrainian tank. There's been lots of theories about it, but I think the video I just played to you proves that these were in fact Ukrainians, and there's an even more graphic video also of the result. And what I wanted to show you by this video is just some of the disinformation or lack of information that people are getting out there, which is the reality of war, which is that there's deaths on both sides. And I'm not saying that you have to just watch the Russian side and that's all. I'm saying that you should get as much information for yourself as possible, because running away from information is what actually caused this war. It's what causes the deaths and misery that we see. Is because we don't face up to what's happening. We don't face up to the truth, and we have some imaginary belief or an imaginary world, an imaginary reality in our heads about what's going on, that we start saying things like, hey, let's just nuke everyone, or let's start World War III, you know, let's have a no-fly zone over Russia, or why can't we stop all the oil and the gas flowing in? You know, people say this kind of stuff without understanding the reality, and all it does is just cause more and more pain, more and more suffering. And like it's like that saying that the road to hell is paved in good intentions, and it's absolutely correct. Now I wanted to show you some propaganda from the Ukrainian side, and this is propaganda I'm kind of obsessed with. This guy who calls himself Belarussian, but he answers to fluent Ukrainian. When people are speaking to him in fluent Ukrainian, he understands it. So he's either studied Ukrainian somewhere, or he's not exactly who he says he is. Either one can be true, honestly. And who knows what ideologies this guy holds, if he was genuine, but I don't think that he is genuine. And this is the guy I'm talking about. There's a lot of videos of him, you know, acting real cool. People have called him a Chad, but we'll get to that later on. So in a lot of these videos, you see him just like either pretending to fight someone. You never actually see combat that's proven real, but you see, you know, him walking around near blown up tank or something like that, or you see him aiming at something, or the most recent video was him walking around trying to tell a Russian soldier to come out, and the video ends when they say that they found someone, you know, peeking out, but you don't see anything. So this video, this guy, you know, if he might be a soldier at the end of the day, because most people get recruited, you know, in the army. You know, in Ukraine, they're recruiting anybody, basically. So it's possible that he is an actual soldier, but he's definitely here to do PR more than to actually fight anyone. And you can tell, because this scene has already been proven to be completely fake. Now, Gonzalo Lira, he went over all this much better than me, and I'll link his video down below. He points out exactly... yeah, he connects these videos with other videos. But like, for example, this is a video pulled out by an American volunteer here. You can see the tower, which tells you that it is the same tower as This one here. Same fence, by the way, and same tower, same equipment. So there's the tower, by the way. So this is the same exact scene as this American person, and
supposedly shot at different times with other actors. But let's look at the James Vasquez video. Look at this one.
I don't know if you guys know what this is behind me. That's a Russian tank. Russian tank that was taken out.
Of this article.
Day?
Это классно.
and this is another video. This is the one of the woman coming out, basically. You got the same tower here, as you can see.
Look at the telephone pole. Look at the blown out tank. Now notice the girl coming here. She's armed. Notice her. It's the same setting. Those are all Ukrainian tanks. And look at her. She has been market tested to appeal to the Brooklyn urban demographic. Notice the scarf, the Palestinian scarf that she's wearing.
So, very good video put out by Gonzalo, noticing all these things and pointing it out. But it is, these guys here, this heroic kind of perception of them, it's propaganda. And I feel really sad for the people that fall for it, because they are really fighting in a war that they are ignorant to. You know, it's one thing if you are fighting for something that you believe in. It's another thing if you've been forced into a war you don't want to fight in. And then it's a completely different thing if you've been just brainwashed into a certain ideal. And I almost think that's like the worst position to be in, because even the people that are the Nazis, you know, the people that really believe in having a Ukrainian ethno state and all this kind of stuff, that people still argue about. And it's like, how much more evidence do you really need to see? But people still don't think that's a thing. But then proper Nazis, at least they know what they're fighting about. Like, it might be quite dumb. It might in the end be not beneficial to Ukraine, and they probably won't get what they want, at least in the way that they want to have it. But at least they understand what they're fighting for. Whereas there's a lot of people, a lot of these volunteers, you know, international volunteers, are fighting for fantasy that doesn't exist. They're supporting a fantasy that doesn't exist. And all they're doing is actually causing more pain and suffering. And you gotta look at these people with just sadness and a bit of disbelief, but also some hate, because they are causing more suffering, not just for themselves, but for everybody around them. Because they are killing other people. Not just other soldiers, Russian soldiers, but they are responsible for the inevitable civilian deaths that are caused in the war, because they don't understand what the war is about or what's happening or how it's going to end, because I think that Ukraine still has some chance to win. And I guess I might want to talk about that a little bit. Like I said before, Russia was going to win from the beginning, and all this war is about how many people each person can kill, basically. The result will be the same as if Ukraine had made that deal on day one, or even had actually stuck to the deal that they made with Russia, 8 years ago or 7 years ago, and basically given up the west, the east of Donbass and Lushansk, where the separatists are. So if I had given that, there wouldn't be a war. If I made a deal with that on the first day, if they could put their ego aside, the result would have been the same, maybe even better, because it's seeming to look like Russia isn't interested in the deal anymore, and they are happy to take not only those areas and control them, but also it seems like they're going to push more west on the south, so probably cut off Odessa as well, and then I guess they will take Kharkiv, I think, as well. So I think that's where it's going to end, and after that they'll just hold their positions, or who knows, we might even keep pushing more, depending how long the war's going to go. But I don't think a deal is possible now. because now the deal would have to be for, you know, Odessa as well, and you know, it makes the deal even harder to swallow, you know, because then how can Zelensky go back and say, hey, we didn't want to take this deal to begin with, and now he has to sell, giving up even more land when he gave up before, basically. So it's just gonna drag the war out. The war isn't gonna end, unfortunately, and more people will die from both sides, and it's not a good thing. It's not a happy day, even though you have fake Ukrainians, but you also have real Ukrainians, you know, taking pleasure in killing people. I mean, I guess Chechens are kind of like that as well. Chechens kind of like to fight too, but maybe that's a similarity that they have there. But you know, for the most part, people don't want to die. People don't want to kill anyone. But it's something that kind of needs to be done. At least that's the more logical kind of Russian point of view. Some people may not agree, but those people that don't agree just don't understand the situation. That's all I can say. That's another...
Which is supposed to appeal to young Ukrainian men to join in the fight against the Russians. See the telephone pole?
That's another video, different video as well, showing also the same set being presented, basically. Now, I'll play some more clips of the Ukrainian guy, I guess. We got this clip here, also like burning, holding up guns in the background and stuff. Of course, after the fight's already been done, you know, by somebody else most likely. If anyone, it could have been just a set, literally a set where they blew something up. But you know, I'm not trying to argue that, you know, there hasn't been any Russian things that were destroyed or that Russian people haven't been killed. Now, about him being a Chad, there's this video here that actually shows how short he is. So he's like a really small man, if you think about it. So people that think he's a Chad, he's not Chad at all. I kind of thought he was a Chad as well. I ended up calling him like a Chad Cranian before I saw that he was supposedly from Belarus. But as you can see, if there's any women watching, they'll understand he's a really tiny like man. So and he's not even that good looking, you know, if you think about it. The mustache covers his face, but he's pretty ugly looking at. But the way he was presented in the beginning, you know, with that gun and the attitude that he has, it does present him as, you know, confident, you know, strong and stuff like that. But this is who he really is. He's most likely just an actor, maybe militarily trained, but no more or no better than any other just any other recruit. But most people, you know, a lot of people in Europe have to do military training. So yeah, I mean, he's just a regular dude, basically, just an actor who's a regular dude. And yeah, we'll see if my prediction for him is that he might actually get martyred if the information comes out that he's fake. If it becomes more mainstream, he might be taken into a real war zone and, you know, left there to basically to see what happens to him, and, you know, as proof that he was for realsies, basically. And, you know, that could be the end of him. I wonder if he knows that or not. No, because I don't know. I don't see how he survives to the end and becomes like a hero and gets interviewed. But there's all this evidence that basically all that he's done has been staged. So the more attention he gets after this war, the more the proof will just blatantly show that, you know, he was fake. And I don't see how he makes it out, basically. In the propaganda kind of point of view, just the cynical propaganda-ish logical view that I have is, you know, you would make him into a martyr, basically. He fought a good fight, he kills lots of Russians, you know, made them relaxed, and now he's relaxing as well. That's how I see it ending. But who knows? We will see. So that's what I wanted to say. Just make this video like update, I guess. Is there anything else I want to show you guys? I mean, watch both sides, basically. You're getting plenty of shit from the Ukrainian side. Watch some from the Russian side. And if you're only watching the Russian stuff, definitely check out the Ukrainian stuff also. Whether it's real or not, some of it's going to be real, some of it's going to be fake. But you see, like, Ukrainians putting things out like this, like, you know, the grandma and dad, and this again shows you the cruelty that Ukrainians have, because they don't understand. They don't understand what being cruel to somebody is. It's a Western Ukrainian thing. It's just one of those things. Like, it's hard to explain, but they really love to, you know, dig the knife in. It's their thing, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Poland with all the refugees there. Once they start to have their Bandera parades, basically, because I think it's in January that his birthday is in, and you know, the war might be over by then, and the refugees, I think they have 3 years to hang out, and all the fathers and, you know, brothers and husbands, once the war ends, are gonna wanna have to celebrate the victory, you know, pushing Russia out of Kiev, and they're probably gonna do it in Poland. So we'll see how that works out. Something to look forward to. Anyway, guys, all the best, and yeah, I hope this war ends pretty soon, but I don't think it will. Thanks, guys, all the best. Bye.